right, so I will welcome our speaker today. This is Preston Unck. Preston is the founder and CEO of T-Box Enterprises. He founded T-Box in August of 2021, and it has grown to 5 indoor locations with 2 entertainment driving ranges in the works. Through this passion venture, Preston and his team have started an apparel line, a real estate business, TBX management organization, a golf academy, a software venture for player development, and T-Box Development Group. Preston has been married to Danielle Unck for 13 years, and together they have 4 kids, Boston, Ava, Holland, and Nash, and they reside in North Ogden, Utah. So please welcome Preston to our class today.
Preston Unck here, and I'm not going to stand behind the pulpit because I have too much energy. I can't stand there for too long, nor do you want me to. So, like was stated, I'm from Ogden, Utah. Anybody know where Ogden is? Yeah. Okay. Anybody been to Ogden? Represent. Anybody been to North Ogden? It's Ogden. Let's be real. Right. Born and raised in the Ogden area. I went to UNT Elementary, South Ogden Junior High, and then Bonneville Lakers. Do we have any Lakers in this room? No hands. See that? Just people knew what Ogden was. Anybody know what Bonneville, where Bonneville is? A little bit.
I'm actually going there tomorrow.
You're going there tomorrow. Why?
I'm an ambassador for the Badger Ag Club here at Snow College. We're
Okay.
doing presentations class tomorrow.
Good luck. Laker pride. Okay. Well, cool. I also went to Weber State. Just a lot of my life was in Ogden. Okay. I get the opportunity to come out and go to a college that was out of town, and I want to ask this too. I want to know my audience. Who's from this area? Okay. Who is from outside of the United States? Awesome. Who's from outside of Utah? Give some example. Where? Where are you from? Where? Las Vegas? Awesome.
Near Boston.
Boston? What part?
Well, in New Hampshire.
New. Okay, so what part?
Atkinson.
Really? Yeah. I lived in Nashua, and Manchester for a year and a half, almost. Yep, love it, beautiful. What else? Where else? Where are other people from? From out of state? Or anywhere?
I was going to say, I'm from Ogden as well.
Ogden? So what? Ben Lomond, awesome. Well, good. I saw another hand. Texas. What part of Texas? Dallas. Awesome. I'm going out to Austin next week to look at a location there. Get some good Mex-Tex, right? Tex-Mex, Mex-Tex, tacos, right? I always get some good brisket in Texas too. Well, I didn't come here to talk about brisket, even though I've got a Traeger and I think I can cook really good briskets. But I came here to talk about the T-Box. Now, I did have some slides with the Wi-Fi issue. It's fine. Slides are boring. But like was stated, father of 4 kids. I've been married for 13 years, and when I think about my entrepreneurial career, it's been about a year of true grit, right? And so when I was asked to come speak today, I did some research on grit. And I want to talk about and ask you guys, what does grit mean? What is grit to you? And there's no right answer to this question. What does grit mean? Any hands?
Your ability to overcome challenges, like something that you're really passionate about.
Love it. The ability to overcome challenges. What else? I want to get back to that. What else?
I'd say the ability to persevere.
Ability to persevere. Okay. Challenges, persevere. What else?
I'm going to say determination.
Determination. Grit sounds like it could make a Marvel movie. Like all these words I'm hearing, right? What else? Let's hear about grit. Any athletes in the room? Grit. Grit on the football. Football? Okay, what about grit on the football field? What does it take to play college football? Energy. Skill. Focus. Work. Does it take work? Do you work harder than maybe some of your competitors in high school, right? Because you're here in college, Some people didn't make it to college to play, right? So you have to work hard. What else does grit mean to you individually? Endurance. That's a good one. In the back. Desire. Okay, love them. You know, grit is interesting. There's a lot of material out there in regard to what it takes to be an entrepreneur, but really what it takes to succeed in whatever craft you're trying to do. It doesn't need to be owning or starting a business. It could be in a career for agriculture. It could be in, on the football field, basketball field. It could be in a, my sister does hair and nails, and I see her day in and day out working hard and getting customers, and it's whatever your passion is, you've got to be able to overcome the obstacles in the way, and I feel that's where grit comes in. So I'm going to kind of share my experience along the way. I hope I, give you guys some excitement about maybe going into business, going into possibly a career that you're wondering about at this point of your life. What do I do? Like, what am I going to do next year if I graduate? What am I going to do? What job am I going to have? How am I supply for a family? Anybody married here? It's an awkward question, Preston. Why'd you ask that? Nobody married here? Congratulations. I'm just going to say that right now. My wife's going to see this. This will actually get us into my story. So I got home from an LDS mission. I went to Boston, so that's what took me up to Boston. I loved it. I learned a lot of things from it. I got home, worked at American First Credit Union as a teller. That was boring. That's why I just paused there for a second, okay? If you guys are tellers, if you want to go into banking, more power to you. It's awesome. I'd tell you go into business, though. But if it's business banking, okay, you have some there. But I met my wife at America First, and so I was home about a year, and we got married, kind of the traditional Utah thing, like a couple days later. No, I'm just kidding. We got married a few months later, okay? And then we had our first child a month before our 1 year anniversary. So like, I had to grow up. I was 23 years old. It was like, holy cow, I've got a month old, and then it's like, when we want to go do something for our 1 year anniversary, it's, well, like, we got to bring this caboose with us and all that, right? But I had to grow up. And so we had 3 more kids, so 4 total. And like was stated, I've been married for 13 years now. And so why I state that is I was going to college at the time, and I got into a career, got into sales with some awesome companies. Google, have anybody heard of Google? Kind of have. Is Google cool these days? Like, it's just so part of everybody's life. Like, they probably just water, right? Well, back when I started working at Google, it was kind of, I liked it. It was exciting, but it got me into sales. Okay, anybody have the thought about going into sales as a career? A couple people, okay? If you're a salesman, you're an entrepreneur. I'll just tell you that right now. But I got into sales, and it took me on in my career to where I was able to do pretty well, raise a family. But with that responsibility, my career blowing up, I actually left Weber State, and I didn't graduate college. And I told Russ that before. So I'm not promoting not graduating college. I'm just stating it, okay? Now, with that, I had to grow up fast, like I said. But at the same time, it taught me things about grit in my everyday life, okay? When you've got to put food on the table, a roof over your head, and not only just your head, but your family's head, I had to work harder than I ever had before. And it's something that has definitely helped me in my career now where I'm at this place of my life. But I'm going to kind of dive into my family life before I get into my career, because it's important. We all have upraisings, right? Who here has a family? Oh, we all do, right? I say that because, my family was unique. My parents were divorced when I was 2, okay? And I was raised and blessed to have a unique, dynamic family. And I bring that up because it really taught me how to work with multiple people and also fit in and feel like I didn't have to be different and I could just be myself. Because if you're in your society, where you're at, where you're growing up, there's so many times people think about you, who you are, and how many times do we take that to heart, be like, man, like what does this community think about me? What does this classroom think about me? What does this school? Right? Do we kind of get in that trap where it's like, I have to fit into this mold rather than doing me, being me, right? And that's something that at a young age, growing up with such a kind of a diverse family, I was very appreciative of. And I had a mom that was a school teacher for 33 years, same classroom, first grade, incredible grit, if you think about it. Who here has dealt with a first grade, let's see, I have a first grader right now, she's 6. Who's here dealt with a 6th grader for 8 hours? Okay? I'm talking about one day, not cumulative 8 hours in your life. One day, okay? What about 33 of them, or 32? Okay, got some hands? Okay. For 33, 30 some odd years, there's a lot of 33s here, but for a lot of years, okay? Do teachers make a lot of money? No, they tend to not make too much money. I watched my mom day in, day out. Luckily, I got to go to the elementary school that she taught at, which was pretty cool. I went to school with her early, and I was the kid that would always just go to her class and come home with her. But I watched her work really hard for these students without this like bonus at the end of this month, or without this huge trip that she was working toward, or this big accolade, right, of I'm this whatever. But she was prideful of being a school teacher and impacting kids. And so in my upbringing, I saw my mom give of herself every day and make an impact in a lot of kids' life. And it was really cool being a teacher's son, because I still get it often to where, hey, you're Miss Bachman's son, right? Oh yeah, I had your mom as a teacher, things like that. And it's just really cool to have that experience because of impact. So I want you to remember that word impact and kind of put it on the shelf. But also growing up, my dad, he's an entrepreneur. And with kind of my dynamic, I saw my dad every other week, right? And just growing up, it was always this story of, like, what business plan are you working on, Dad? Even when I was young. And it's just, to me, it kind of helped open my mind to what's out there. And that's something I'm, again, super thankful for. But if I could say, one thing right now, kind of off of that, like, openness of your mind, I want you to, at this age, think of, like, if you don't have it kind of pegged what you want to do, like, your future evolves day by day. I'll tell you, I was thinking there was a golf picture up there, it's just me. 10 years ago, if I could go back and tell you I've started a golf business and it's taken off, if you've seen my golf game, you'd be like, no way. No way to see golf, right? But I kind of want I want to do a practice real quick, okay? So everybody, if you're on Twitter or TikTok is the new thing. These days, maybe I should. Just drop it, put your pens down, papers down, and I want you to do a little practice with me. You ready? Say aye. Aye. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. Just don't be awkward. It's just closing your eyes. Okay? I want you to visualize where you're at right now. Keep your eyes closed. Okay? I don't know any of your names, and I apologize for that. But somebody tell me what you see with your eyes closed. Where are we? Don't be shy. Where are we? What do you see? Bunch of chairs and people. Does it feel real, right? You're here, correct? Okay. Now, I want you to visualize what you're going to do this weekend. Can you see it? You guys have plans? What does it look like? Tell one of us. Tell us. What are you doing this weekend? What do you see?
Taking an exam.
Maybe don't. Okay, video games, that's fine. Biking? Where are you biking?
Hiking.
Oh, hiking. Where are you hiking?
Bryce Canyon.
Bryce Canyon. What does it look like?
Orange.
Orange? It's orange. Okay. Now, let's say a year from now you graduate. Now, some of you might be farther away from that. Let's just say graduation date. What do you see? Tell me. What do we see?
Caps and gowns.
Caps and gowns, right? Okay. Now, let's say 10 years after you graduate college, what do you see? Success. Love it. What else? What else do you see? Families. Okay. I want to hear this one. This is why I'm here. What else do you see? Careers. Okay. All right, everybody can open their eyes. Holy cow, this speaker made me close my eyes for this is a whoop, by the way, it doesn't tell time, but for 35 seconds. So, why did I do this practice? Tell me, you tell me. Why did I do this practice? Visualize. Why is that important? What's your name?
I'm Brady.
Braden, why is that important to visualize?
Because if you don't see your goals, then you'll have no way to reach them.
Okay, you said goals, right? Does anybody have goals here? That's good. Okay. I'm not going to dive too deep into goals, but goals has been something that has taken me just everywhere in my life, from family to my career, to golf, to sports, to fitness, to health, nutrition. Goals, something that I've set and I've sat down intentionally and put together a plan. Okay? So why else? Why is having a vision important?
Gives us purpose.
Purpose. Okay, expand. What's your name?
I'm Jarrett.
Jarrett, expand. What?
Well, like, if we don't have a vision, like Brandon was saying, we don't have a plan, so we're kind of just sitting stagnant. We don't really know what we're doing. We don't have purpose.
Stagnant.
Yeah.
Purpose. Okay, there's so many people in our world today that sit stagnant, right? And that is something that, just as a father of four, scares me to death. Like, my kids probably hate hearing, I'm talking my 5-year-old, Nash, named after Nashville, New Hampshire. Was it you that went to Boston? Pretty fun, right? Whenever I say Nash, like, oh, did you name your kid after Steve Nash? I'm like, no, just a city in New Hampshire, no big deal. But, I'm talking to him about goals, and he's 5, right? Is that weird? No. Let's have goals. So that's one challenge. If you take notes, I'm going to tell you in your way, I want you to do some research on how you can set goals. Is this the football team here? Is there other athletes? Okay, there? Okay. And I'm not saying just athletes have goals, obviously, but I'm going to challenge you guys to think of, what do I need to do to succeed, right? W's are important, right? But how do I break that down into me personally and how I contribute to my team? So a vision of having what your future is important. Even if it's just, somebody said success. Did you say success? I love it, right? I grew up wanting to eventually own my own business. And as a young kid, that was just something that I thought about, right? But I didn't know what it was, and I just wanted to be successful. And success has multiple definitions to it. A lot of us feel that, and I fell into this in my young career, and what held me back from taking a jump into being an entrepreneur is I thought success had to be like a Ryan Smith. Anybody know who Ryan Smith is? He owns the Utah Jazz. You know, we do. I didn't know who he was till, I was like 25. I had to be this guy who created this big company and sold for $8 billion. Holy cow, that's a lot of money, right? So if I need to be a successful entrepreneur, I need to go build that. And I just want you guys, if you have that thought in your mind, to just wipe it out. I will save you 12 years of a career that I wish I could have done what I'm doing now 12 years ago, okay? Because I had this feeling of, look, I've got to build something big in order to make it worth it, right? And so that's something that I hope I can leave with you today, to think whatever I want to do, whatever I have interest of, I can do it. Now, not all of you will probably be entrepreneurs, and that's okay as well, all right? So to kind of dive into my career, I was in the tech space. Anybody like technology here? You're kind of born with technology these days, right? I love technology. I love software, so I'm more on the software side. I sell software, I don't build software. There's a big difference, okay? What I love about software and technology is always developing, always growing. And it kind of played into what I like to do anyways. I kind of like change. I don't like to sit stagnant. And so I got into this career, and this career kind of took me out of college, unfortunately, to where I joined a startup. Anybody know what a startup is? That concept startup?
Before people describe them as dumpster
Dumpster fires.
fires.
Okay, elaborate. I want to hear this.
I think last year I took this class and the speakers and a lot of it was just like, they're a mess. It's just always a mess that you're like just trying to get ahead and trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's just always a mess.
That's a really pessimistic way of looking at a startup. And it's 100% true, okay? I like a dumpster fire. A startup, and just so you know, when I joined a startup when I was 25, all these years blend. I'll say 25 years old. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was reached out by a gentleman named Sean Ritchie, who was an entrepreneur, and he sent me a message on LinkedIn. And if you guys have LinkedIn or not, like another thing you probably get going in your career, but you get these messages often with, hey, I've started this thing. Or, hey, if you get 3 friends and they get 3 friends. We've all heard that one, right? So I didn't really play too well into this like message, but then for some reason, he offered me free lunch. And as a young married guy, not making too much money, lunches, when they come free, just suggest to all of you, take them, okay? I took this free lunch and met with Sean, and it changed my life. He told me this concept of, hey, we started this business. It's very similar to this. You'd put something like this on the outside of a conference room, and it'll tell you if it's available or not. So cool. I was like, wow, that's the next Twitter. I want to be involved. Right? Aren't you guys excited about it? Okay. That was a joke, obviously. But what it did is also on the back end, it told you how often that conference room was used, who was using it, how many people are inside that conference room. And so it just made sense to me. The company I was at before, we did video conferencing. And so in these big conference rooms, people would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that was like before you could do it on your phone. And that was only like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, which is crazy. So I gave an ear. I was like, okay, like this is fun. A startup sounds interesting. And he tells me, but being a startup, we've raised this much money to help get our product out there, but we can only pay you $30,000. And I tell you that because I was making at the time like 70-ish, okay? And so when you're raising a family in a single like income home, you go home to your wife and you're excited about this startup, and then you tell her, oh, but by the way, sweetheart, and I don't think I use sweetheart, we're going to cut our income in half. She's like, well, I thought you'd go to get a job to like make more money. Isn't that the natural thing? Like if you're going to look for other jobs, it's to make more money, right? Well, no, sweetheart, we're gonna cut our income in half, but they're giving me a part of the company. So there's the trade, right? So this dumpster fire, right, is like, you come hop into this dumpster with me, we're gonna pay you less. And if we put out this fire and we make it successful, you may get something at the end. May. Like there's a big may there, okay? I don't want to say it's like betting, but it is, okay? You're betting on a product, you're betting on yourself, and you're betting on a service that it's going to take off, okay? And so I got the blessing from my wife. I'm a salesman, so I must have been a pretty good salesman at the time. And I started, and I was the 8th person in this company to start, right? So we had a room that was like the size of this here, kind of front row to that corner. And I was to help build the sales team, sales motion, and sell at the same time. And it was a hard year, meaning the dumpster fire almost burned me out complete. However, I learned so much about myself, about grit. I learned about what I really wanted in life, and that was to impact people. We grew from 8 employees in 2014 to 150 employees in 2018 and sold to WeWork for $150 million. Now, I don't mean to like say that by throwing out these numbers out there to brag by any means. And for me personally, being a kind of that small person in this startup, let's just say I had to get another job the next day we sold. Okay? And so I don't want you to think there's the other myth that like you can build these businesses or you can do things and sell and you're just like, you're Ryan Smith and you go buy the Utah Jazz, okay? That happens like once. Okay? But what it taught me was so much. I wore a lot of hats in this business. I was like HR at one point, which was not a good choice. Accounting, also not a good choice. Math and me don't get along. That's why I'm in sales. But I wore so many hats that helped mature me and bring me to this point to where I know how to do business. You know, this is interesting. And so we sold team to a company called WeWork. Has anybody heard about WeWork before? Okay. This was interesting. So we sold, WeWork came in and bought us. They were a big co-working space, right? Does anybody know what co-working is? Maybe, right? What's co-working?
Like I'm thinking of like coworkers.
Yeah.
The same thing, you work with more people.
Yeah, you just work with people all together, offices, desks, but you just multiple businesses in there. And they did a really good job at it. They were valued at $46 billion when they bought our company. So not only did we sell and it was great, but we were on like cloud 9. We are with the biggest company compared to like faster growing than Amazon. Anybody heard of Amazon? Okay. They were growing at that rate. And so here I'm looking at it like, awesome, I'm excited to be on board, sweet. And then they went to go do an IPO. If I had swag, do you have more swag?
I do.
What's an IPO?
They should know too.
What does it mean to do an IPO? A company goes from private to
In-person office.
close-ish. Love it.
Have you been listening?
When a company goes private and then they step out into the, starts with a P, public offering, okay? So WeWork went in to put their public offering in. You have to go file some paperwork. And it just, let's say, blew up, okay? They went from $46 billion valuation. That means their company was worth, just like our homes, our cars, our cell phones, or what, they all have worth, right? This company was worth $46 billion. 1 year later, so it's up here, 1 year later, they got an emergency exit, meaning that somebody had to come in and save their business and bought them out for $8 billion. The reason I share that is because that dumpster fire can be small, and WeWork was small. If you research Adam Newman, and I would suggest, I mean, it's going to be in books, I guarantee it. It's one of the biggest falls of a business ever. But if you research Adam Newman and this WeWork experience, they had something, right? They had a good product, a good service, a good brand, I'd say. But then their head got to them. Their pride got to them. Now, I want to take this out of business. How often that our head gets kind of too big, right? And whatever we do, okay? And I mean, they've Hulu's, and there's documentaries on Adam Newman. His head got so big that he thought he could do whatever he wanted and spend as much money as he wanted, and money would solve everything. Well, that doesn't work when it's like raw accounting and you're going to go public, right? So I'm like seeing this, and I just got done selling our company, and it was like we're on a high, if you will, business-wise, to a year later, just like everything that we sold for, right? Because when you sell your company, they also give you shares, which is, what is shares in a company? Anybody know that?
Part of the company.
Part of the company, right? And so there's private shares that they had given us in part of that sell to say, hey, like part of this, we're gonna give you this much cash for your company, and then the shares, come with us and let's go to that like golden paradise, wherever that is, of WeWork's world. And it just like crumbled. That dumpster fire just came over and nothing now. Literally, I had everything that I was thinking like, great, this is gonna set our family up for life in the sense of career development, progression, taken away, right? So I was a little down, kind of like, what do I do now? At this point was 31, 4 kids this time. And not that I was like worried about my career. I knew I could go get a job, and I did. But it was just this like, this entrepreneurial like blah, like deflated everything that I was excited for. So then went to a company called Lucid in Salt Lake because I was looking for structure. I was looking for a company that had good values, good ethics, business practices, and also had a product that was emerging. And so when I joined Lucid in 2019, I was, again, in this kind of like, all right, I want to settle down. I want to get out of the dumpster fire, like was stated, and I want to get in something that was just healthy, and I can be in one seat and do one thing and succeed at it. So I joined Lucid, and it was really hard for me to stay in that seat because I got into this like bug again. Like, they're growing at such a fast rate, and I wanted to be part of that. And so I joined the leadership in Lucid in the sales department, and I loved it and really was excited about it. But I didn't have this like, I had this kind of feeling in me that just, this isn't it, right? And I'm telling you my entrepreneurial story about a career, but I want to relate this to you guys in regard to whatever that may be, right? Part of grit, one thing that I've always tagged the G in grit is go for it. Have you ever had those feelings at your age? It doesn't matter what complexity. It can be like going and getting something at the store, but it's just like, I don't know if I want to get out of bed. Like, it's just that go for it mentality. And I didn't have that much at Lucid. I loved what I did. I loved the people I worked with. Some of the leaders that I worked with inspired me there. But I just had this like empty feeling of like worth. Who said purpose, right? What was your name again? Jarrett. Jarrett talked about purpose. Even though I was doing well, supplying for my family and selling a good product, I didn't feel like my purpose was there. So in this is March 2020. What happened? Does anybody remember that month? Nothing big. Didn't just like change a lot of things. COVID happened. Does anybody remember where they're at when that like whole whatever the story was? But like I was in office working, and it's like, oh, by the way, you got to go home. We'll probably be back in a week. That week has been really long, right? So COVID happened, and we all went home, and I was, our product at Lucid actually helps enable people to work better remotely, and it was incredible for the company. And so I worked and had some success, worked from home, got to see family a lot, maybe a little too much, maybe they saw a little too much of me. But I was home, but I had a neighbor ask me if I wanted to go golf. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll pick up some clubs and go golf. And I went golfing with him. He was retired, so like I felt like I was living a retired life. I would go golf with a bunch of old guys, and if you know golf, there's like a handicap, and when you get into golf, you have a higher handicap, and the better you shoot. Like I was taking these people's money like I was betting in Vegas. Who's from Vegas, right? And that was a joke. I really wasn't taking that much money. I wasn't winning. But I got into golf, and I got this bug. There's just this thing inside of me that was like, I love this game. This is fun. While I was still at Lucid, okay, still working, doing my thing, probably should have been working more, golfing less, but don't tell my former boss that. But I got this bug in me that was like, I really like what I'm doing. And then my business sense turned on. I saw these gaps of like where the golf world was. Anybody golf here? Okay, we have golfers. In 2020, what did that do for golf? Did golf, right? So golf was kind of like, excuse me if I offend you or your grandparents, but it was an old man sport. It was like going downhill. And I always tease like, the customers of golf just actually died. No offense. Like we all have, they died. And also what died with it was a lot of like boring business practices that just were like down here, and you go talk to a golf person that's in golf business or whatever, and it's like, well, we golf and we teach and we green, they hit off green grass and hopefully it stays in this fairway and then they can hit. That was kind of the business of golf. Now there's other things as well. I'm kind of belittling it a little bit. But again, this kind of like the 12 years I've been in business connected now with a hobby of mine. Okay? So, anybody have hobbies? Yeah, hobbies? Name one. Let's hear. What's your hobby?
Cooking.
Cooking. I wish I had that hobby.
Really good hobby.
Oh, man.
I made tacos last night.
Tacos? What kind?
Chicken and beef.
And beef.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. I got hungry. We have lunch after this? Okay. So I took this hobby and really brought my business sense into this and started a company called T-Box. Okay. And I tagged it, because again, I was at Lucid at this time, and I talked to my boss. I was like, hey, dude, I'm going to start this company. It's really because I don't want to golf outside in the cold in Ogden when it's freezing. It's an indoor facility. I'm passionate about strength training. I'm passionate about golf now, even though I wasn't good at it. I'm still not good at it. But I'm going to start this business, okay? And from that passion business, why I say it was a passion business, because we can all have these things that we want to do on the side, right? Whatever you guys do in your careers or in your life, don't be worried or like, I can never do something on the side. It's just whatever. Do it. Again, the G and grit is go for it, okay? And I went for it. And to me, it was obviously life-changing, okay? And with this small facility, 3,000 square feet, so imagine this building, 100 feet back, 30 feet wide. We have 1,500 square feet of gym space, which is like rigs, barbells. Again, another thing that golfers don't really do is throw around iron, right? Football players, you throw around iron? Yeah, you have to, right? Well, in golf, like if you lift more, this is rocket science. I'm patenting this, okay? If you lift more, you can hit the ball farther. Did you know that? I came up with that. Isn't that incredible? And that's why I'm here today, is because I taught the word. No, I'm just kidding. But that was this concept of like, let's get these golfers to get like calluses on their hands and sweat and push around sleds and do things that where it's going to result in a better game for them, right? And it has taken off. And so with the T-Box, the indoor side, we'll have 5 locations up the Wasatch Front in the next, we'll be done with those by November, which is exciting. And then we got into, and I'll share here briefly, the concept. Has anybody heard of Topgolf? Okay, what's Topgolf? Yeah, it's like you hit out into this big driving range. They have TVs, food and beverage, and kind of a restaurant with golf. It's where anybody can play and have fun, right? It's kind of the gamification of golf. And so where I kind of took this, again, this was August 2021 when we started. So this is we're in, I guess, October. So 14 months-ish later, I'm here in front of you today, right? What has happened is I left a really good paying job to take this as big as we can and impact as many people as we can. And the reason why I did that is because that feeling that I had here, and also this success and that vision and the impact we were making on people, I had to capture it. I had to go. I got my wife on board, again, very good salesman. Got her on board. My kids are on board. Like, we are bought into this concept of creating a business that's gonna bring impact to the world. Because again, I started this based upon kind of this passion venture. This something that I wanted to create impact in other people's lives, okay? So where we're at today with the T-Box, I'm really excited about. And why I share the success and just the recent time that we've had at the T-Box with you is because remember that concept I thought to be an entrepreneur, you have to create $1 billion business? And you have to do this like elaborate thing, and you're gonna be on New York, Wall Street trading on the market. I broke those barriers down mentally the last 14 months. And now we'll have, by the end of next year, so 2023, we'll have 2 facilities that will employ up to 150 people per facility. That is pretty cool, and I'm super proud of that. And then we'll have up to 15, we call them boxes. They're like our indoor facilities across the United States. And for me, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't experience a lot of my upbringing and a lot of the sales and business and just that experience that I had for the last 12, 13 years of my career, okay? But when I'm standing in front of a lot of college students, that if I could go back and like sit in that seat and listen to somebody talk about their 13 years of life before they got to the point where I'm at, if you are looking at being a business owner, or if you're looking at doing something, especially even if it's just a side venture, go for it, okay? Don't wait. Don't think, oh man, this economy. Who here has heard in the news about this economy? Right? Like, should you go build a $20 million facility right now? Well, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Well, obviously not for us.
Right?
We don't have $20 million.
Okay, I get it. I don't either, okay? But we're doing it. And the reason is because we're capitalizing on a strategy to where we believe we can be of service to people that are going through hard times, okay? And we believe our business will be able to ride this storm. Now, it's not going to be always profitable in the next however long with this economy and what's happening, but there are things that you should and should not do during a certain economy and certain situations. I'm not telling you just be aggressive all the time, but what I'm telling you is to go for it. So whether that is registering for a certain class that you don't know about, maybe it's going to introduce you to something, or maybe it's going to school after this one, and you get done with this education. Maybe it's like starting a cookie business. Who here likes cookies? I mean, Crumble, like they have 500 stores. That is crazy. I was going to start a cookie business with my wife like 4 years ago. We were going to call it Unck and Dunk. I mean, my last name is Unck. So Unck and Dunk cookies, and we were going to do it, and I did it. Should I have done it? I would have had 500 stores by now, right? Maybe. But I just want to leave with you the thought of you need to have vision in your life. You need to have this like, okay, I want to be successful, and that success is my own definition. And it could be a small vision right now. It could be one word, or it could be a phrase, but I challenge you to have it be something. Something that you're excited about, and who knows, maybe it'll be a golf endeavor for you non-golfers, because I wasn't a golfer 10 years ago. I was into sports. I love sports. I had an older brother that played in the NFL, and I just watched him as I grew up work hard, play hard, and succeed in what his craft was. But whatever you do, have that vision, go for it, and work hard. Thank you.